Hello out there in podcast land. You are listening to the Bohemian Cauldron podcast. I am Demon Daddy Dale, and with me we have Eron Mazza here today. They are the host of the Witching Hour with Eron Mazza. Am I pronouncing that right? Yes, I am. Okay. They've been practicing witchcraft for 13 plus years, and they have a thriving lemonade practice. Is that correct?
Exactly. Lemonade, fresh squeezed.
All right. We're here to talk about what is witchcraft. And before that, I have to ask the thing I ask all the podcast guests. How did you get into your known field? What was that moment, that divine light shining from above or below? I'm not here to make judgments. I am Demon Daddy Dale. And what brought you to this place?
Well, I was about 25 years old. 25 was a big year for me. I was in seminary at the time, and I decided to leave seminary after I came out of the closet.
Oh, wow. Seminary. Okay. So we're a Catholic seminary?
No, Protestant.
Oh, well, all right.
I couldn't do the whole celibacy thing.
Oh, well, no.
That wouldn't be my forte.
Well, from what I understand, a lot of priests don't do the celibacy thing either, but again, not here to judge. Okay, so we have an amazing topic. I was online, and I looked up what is witchcraft, and here is what I found. I don't know if you want to go through all of these at once or if you want to take them one at a time, but I have, well, first of all, buying too many crystals. That is a part of witchcraft. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, but witchcraft businesses too.
That's true. All right. So using emojis in spell work.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
A little bit of techno sorcery right
Right. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the big one. All right, the 1996 film The Craft.
That's one aspect of it. I've watched it many times, and that's but a portion of the definition.
Oh, okay. All right. Throwing a bunch of herbs in boiling water and calling it a potion.
Who hasn't done that?
I don't use boiling water because I'm not allowed to use the stove, but I can see that. Okay. Having a billion cartomancy decks. It says tarot decks, but I was going to say cartomancy because you're a Lenormand reader.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Or you do readings with the Uno deck.
I do. I also occasionally use Yahtzee.
Oh, nice.
But that one's a little
throwing
more,
bones.
A little more vague. Nope, just Yahtzee dice.
Oh, just regular.
Just Yahtzee dice.
Hey. All right, so this actually applies to pretty much yesterday. Wanting to do cool witchcraft stuff during moon phases and sun phases, but forgetting when they are and being too lazy to actually do something when that time comes about. Same thing, only with Sabbats.
Exactly, but who says you have to wait for those times to do what you want to do?
Oh, I like that. I like that answer. I really do.
If we wanted to follow hardened rituals, if I wanted to follow hardened rituals, I would have stayed in the church.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, they expect you to wake up every Sunday morning and go somewhere prepared, and I am just not ready to do that.
And put on deodorant.
Oh, man. They ask a lot.
They do. You're lucky I brushed my teeth to come here.
Ooh, I am honored. I am truly honored. So in your eyes, what defines witchcraft? If you can boil it down to anything, really.
If I can define witchcraft, I would say that it's a path of healing. It's also a path of boundaries, because to me, one of the things that walking this path has taught me is to enforce healthy boundaries in my life with people and with spirits. But at the same time, it's also a path of personal responsibility. Like, are you honoring the earth's boundaries? Are you helping take care of the earth? Are you honoring people's personal sovereignty? It's very introspective. It's nothing like you see in the movies.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Not as much blood.
I tell a lot of people who come to me for some form of spell work that the first thing you have to understand is I will not bend or break anyone else's free will. It is only your will and the will of the universe that I'm concerned with, and anything beyond that, the border is somebody else's free will and soul, and that, because a lot of people will come, hey, my boyfriend left me and I want to get back with them, and can you give me a spell to bring them back? And I say, no, but if you want a love spell, I can give you a love spell to help you love yourself. And they don't like that. They don't like that answer, but that is the answer that I will give you every time.
Yeah, because it's what was it? I saw a meme online. It says, when you go to a witch for spell work, and it has a line from the Game of Thrones. It says, don't start out a relationship with a hostage situation.
Oh, yes. That's very good, yeah. No bending free wills. Boundaries has been, speaking of boundaries, has been essentially one of the big buzzwords in the 2020s so far, acknowledging and respecting other people's boundaries. How can we do that when we don't necessarily know the consequences of the actions? Is it just trial and error? Should we try to look beyond what we see first?
I would always ask for permission. You have to communicate. You can't just, let's say somebody you see someone on your Facebook who needs healing because they're going through something. I would personally message them. And if you can't get a hold of that person, it's a matter of maybe trying to talk to their spirits and say, would this be stepping on any toes if I send energy this person's way? But primarily, communication is key. You ask that person, what are their boundaries? Don't just fly in wands blazing.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I was actually at a class last night, and they were talking about unintended consequences and stepping on people's toes. Like, if you go in for a job interview and then you interview very well and then you perform a ritual or some sort of spell work to help increase your chances of getting said job, you are also decreasing the other people's chances of getting that job, and you have to go within yourself and speak with the universe and ask if you're okay with this occurring. And you are essentially speaking that same thing. Like, you're doing something and you want to help, but you do have to acknowledge and talk to the universe and find out if that's okay.
Very true. Very true. But it's also kind of like, if it's like for matters of employment, we all need money. We all got to pay bills and whatnot. And so if you, like for me, doing job work for myself or for other people, I'm going to ask them permission, but then I'm going to do it. Because it's tough to do, to me, in my opinion, it's tough to do magic with the whole world in mind. I can only take care of the people that I care about. I can only take care of myself and the people that I care about who are right in front of me, or even if they're not in front of me. If I care about them and they want me to do like a spell for them, I'll do a spell for them.
All right. Yes. So that is actually very generous, and actually kind of leads into my next question about witchcraft, and that would be, what entities are concerned? When doing spell work and ritual work and things of that nature, who are you trying to contact? Like we know with Christians and the Abrahamic religions, they try to get a hold of Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah. Who exactly are? Let's see. I'll go ahead and use a generic term. Who are you worshiping when it comes to witchcraft?
It's pretty diverse with me, but I'm of Mediterranean descent, and if you ever see me in real life, that's why I'm so hairy and I've got a full beard. I've had the beard since 3rd grade. I work with the Greco-Roman pantheon personally.
Okay.
Like for communication, for business and stuff like that, I reach out to Hermes. I prefer the Greek incarnations of those deities to the Roman, because that's a whole nother podcast.
All right.
But those, right, and like for those are who I work with. I work with primarily the Greek pantheon.
All right. Actually, I did a ritual to Kronos last night. So.
Oh boy, Kronos I think was a Titan.
Yes. Yes.
So you're reaching out. You're reaching out long and deep.
I am, and for what I tried, it was definitely worth the shot. So I'm not afraid to say that I hope it works. All praise Kronos. and Seer. Okay, that's my Goetia go-to.
Oh, you're one of those goetic people.
Sometimes, yes. Although I recently learned that I was using the Crawley Goetia, and I am trying to come to terms with that myself. But
it's all Goetia to me.
Yeah. All right. So it doesn't always limit yourself. I shouldn't say that. It's not about the limits of the pantheon, but there's more to it. I heard that you're really not supposed to mix and mingle, intermingle pantheons. Like if you're doing a Greco-Roman pantheon, don't involve the Norse. But you can tread lightly, I hear, on the Egyptian side.
I don't tread lightly anywhere.
Okay.
Because if I don't know enough about the gods or goddesses or spirits personally, I don't work with them. Like, I'm not knowledgeable on the Norse pantheon or the Egyptian pantheon. But I am very knowledgeable, about, from what I can understand. I've read a lot of dusty books about Greek polytheism.
Okay, all right.
and how to work with those spirits. And so I'm not an advocate for mixing and matching, working with those spirits at the same time. Some people do, and that works for them. But personally, I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
And I don't like it when my food touches. So
okay. Well, yeah, all right. That. All right. Actually, I'm Mr. Virgo rising, and I have a similar quality in that I will eat one section of my food at a time.
Always clockwise around the plate.
No, it's actually more along the lines of, all right, I can't have my potatoes until I finish my salad, and I can't have my steak until I finish my potatoes. And I don't know why I do that, but I've always done that. So thank you for explaining it to me.
You're welcome, because I'm an Aries sun, so not only am I neurotically organized about stuff, I'm very hostile about staying organized, too.
Oh, man. I'm an Aries moon. Tell me you're an Aquarius rising, and we just got the de facto backwards.
No, that's what I meant, is I'm an Aries moon, so I'm very passionate.
Oh, okay.
I am a Virgo sun, Aries moon, but I'm Libra rising.
Oh, okay. All right. So, nice joke I like to make about Libras is going from one extreme to the other doesn't make you balanced. It makes you bipolar.
Well, I'm not very bipolar. I'm pretty stubborn whenever it comes to stuff.
Okay. All right. That's very Libra and very Virgo. We have your Greco-Roman pantheon, so I have to ask this question in order to give everybody a preview of maybe things to come. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about the goddess of witchcraft, Hecate?
Oh, Hecate?
Thank you.
I love Hecate. I know who you're talking about. I've heard numerous pronunciations, and they are all correct. I personally don't work with her very much. Mm-hmm. But she's very powerful. Keeper of the Crossroads, and sometimes one of her titles is she is the thrice illustrious Hecate, because she's one of the only deities to have, we'll just say, sway over the land, the earth, and the sea. Oh. And she was a Titan at one point.
Oh, my. I was unaware.
And she was just that much of a badass. I don't know if I can say that.
Yes.
That Zeus didn't want to mess with her.
So just like, you get transferred. You get a lateral position transfer from Titans to God. Okay.
He just saw her and said, nope, welcome to the family.
Tell us about your personal tradition. What is going on in your world right now?
Well, my personal tradition that I follow, it's called the fairy tradition, which was, in particular, I follow the Blue Rose lineage of fairy. But the fairy tradition itself was founded by Victor and Cora Anderson. Victor was half blind, and he was a seer, and he was initiated into witchcraft supposedly about 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
There is a great book out there if you want to know any more about Victor Anderson and Cora Anderson called The American Shaman, and it just gives you his whole autobiography. But it's mainly about, doesn't have so much to do with like the little fairies like you see like in Disney movies and stuff like that. It's has a lot to do with working with your abilities to work with higher beings.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense. Are we talking elementals?
Elementals, gods, goddesses. Fairy is sort of like there's a bit of Hawaiian huna mixed in there. There you'll find some voodoo mixed in there. You'll find some all kinds of things. But Victor actually built a relationship with these spirits who were originally supposedly worshipped by humanity.
That is very fascinating. That is very cool. So, does any of that involve, and I'm probably going to mispronounce it because I only heard it in the Dresden Files books, but the She?
The She is mentioned. And like I said, if you pick up the American Shaman, or even like the Black Heart of Innocence by Victor Anderson, the founder, there's a whole bibliography that I can share with people if they're really interested.
All right.
There aren't many of us fairy witches around.
That is kind of surprising.
Because especially I think a lot of it is like our beliefs on certain things, whereas like Gardneri and Wicca has like the rule of three and stuff like that, for example. The fairy witches don't have the rule of three.
Okay. All right.
Like this is going to be real bold, so I hope you're not drinking anything whenever I say this.
Uh-oh.
But we do believe in hexes and curses.
Oh my, stars and garters.
I know, right? But there's a certain ethics to it. There's a certain ethos to it. My personal belief on hexes, curses, and bindings is it shouldn't be used for my own self-service.
Okay.
Just because somebody at work ate my yogurt in the fridge.
Oh, man. Was it Greek?
Greek yogurt? Oh, if it was Greek yogurt, that stuff's expensive.
It is.
So there's a possibility, but it should be if someone's like a danger to the community.
Okay.
Or somebody is a danger to themselves. Like if you see somebody running around like causing havoc in like the physical sense or even in the mystical sense, and you have the ability to stop them and then know how to stop them, and you don't do anything, that's just as bad as running around and zapping people.
When good people do nothing, that is a crime of itself?
Yes, exactly.
All right. Okay. So hexes, curses, bindings, that's fair game, especially for those who are a causing
a menace.
A menace, that's a good word. A menace to themselves or to others. Okay. How would we be able to... Is there any examples, not examples, but maybe something to keep an eye out for on something like that?
I'll use this story for example. I have some very, very close friends of mine who were dealing with somebody who was untrained, but they were offering blood to malevolent spirits.
Oh, my. Okay.
To curse my friends. And in the same day, they had like one of their favorite animals die. But at the same time... the rogue sorcerer, as we'll call him, their bird died.
Oh.
And he just kept working and working with the spirits. And to this guy, I said, you got to be careful working with those spirits because they will take their pound of flesh. And this went on for a few months. And then I just stopped trying to talk to him because he wasn't listening to the dialogue.
Okay.
So then I did my thing.
All right.
And then he messaged me on Facebook Messenger one day and said, hey, can you please...
All right.
Can you please unbind me?
Right. Yes. Like when you gain your marbles back, yes.
Yeah, when you stop working with forces that you don't understand and quit using spells to work with these forces that you find on Google.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Oh, my gosh. Someone tells me that they get a spell from Google, and if it were, like, anatomically possible, my eyes would roll completely into the
right
back
in the
of my head. But I'll say, as soon as you mind your P's and Q's magically, I can do that. And this person has not been troubled my friend since.
Oh, well, that is good news then. That is.
I also teach a class over hexes and curses, too.
Oh.
Shameless
Oh, no,
promotion.
we're gonna get to that shameless plug portion in just a moment because I want to learn more. We're talking fairy magic with Eron Mazza, which actually I have to bring up this point because this might confuse some people who haven't heard or seen. Transition seems like an overbearing word, but you are going by they, them now.
I started using they, them pronouns.
Okay. Would you mind telling us a little bit?
I don't mind talking about it either because it's always good to spread awareness about stuff.
It is.
I identify as a non-binary person. I'm a non-binary witch. That means I don't ascribe to being male or female. Specifically, non-binary is a umbrella term. Then you go into specifics like trans man, trans woman, so on and so forth. I specifically identify as agender, which means I don't have a gender.
Okay.
And gender isn't necessarily what's going on downstairs on your body.
Right.
Gender is how you interpret yourself in your mind. Like growing up, I never really identified or saw myself as a man or as a boy, but I didn't see myself as female either. I just sort of saw myself as a human.
Kind of, yes, slightly Kabbalion-esque in terms of it's the spirit inside. It's not the meat suit.
Nope, it's my connections to this reality.
That's right.
It's the way I say it's my connections to this reality.
I like that. That was a very good explanation. Thank you. I mean, I don't know if that helps clear anything up for anybody else, but I really enjoyed that explanation. The Witching Hour with Eron Mazza. I do want to hear more about this. What can we expect if we start to listen to this particular podcast, and where is it available?
It is available. Well, let's cover what you can expect. What you can expect is me to talk to various witchcraft authors, like the really it's people that like I know and I'm friends with. I just happen to be friends with authors.
Hey, if there are better people to be friends with and drink with than I have not heard, maybe journalist, but you know.
Oh gosh. But and I'm going to do book reviews, and I intend on broaching some pretty powerful topics, especially in the metaphysical and the occult community.
Okay.
Like my last episode, I had Storm Fairy Wolf on, and we were talking about LGBTQ spirituality because he's coming out with a new book called The Satyr's Kiss, and it's a book. It's a magic book that is for queer men and queer community, but straight people can read it because it'll definitely change your perspective on magic. How we see, for example, like we think we need the illustration of a male and female polarity for there to be magic. There are other polarities out there.
Yes, there are. There are many other polarities out there. And
they primarily get that, like the word you used earlier from the Kybalion.
Yeah.
But they talk about the Hermes, I think it's Hermes?
Hermes, yeah, Trismegistus?
Yes.
All right.
Wrote that he illustrates other polarities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be male or female. But we talked about, like, queer spirituality and how even, like, cisgendered and straight people could benefit from reading the book because it can totally change your point of view, like, on magic.
That'd be fantastic. I'm always looking for a new view.
And I'm going to also talk about, I'm working on an episode where I'm going to talk about, like, the white supremacy movement and the use of Norse mythology. The use of the runes and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm going to broach some very interesting topics.
Right, absolutely. Another thing that I actually heard last night was they were talking about deities and how the deities really don't care about those sorts of things. Their deity would be like, oh, look, there's someone who's come to worship, and they're using their manners and saying thank you for what's being offered. They're not the usual color of mine, but I don't care because they're actually, showing respect.
I've always said the spirits are going to call who they're going to call. You can't tell the spirits who to call. You can't tell the gods and goddesses who to call. Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. That is.
I like to go back to an old saying I learned from seminary, which is in Latin. It's "Fidedum non compax infinitum," which essentially means the finite cannot comprehend the infinite.
That's something I've been trying to get through my skull for a while. And I look up into the vastness of the sky at night, and on a clear night that you can just see forever and forever and realize that you can see absolutely nothing.
We see, but not even a drop, not even a 1/100th of a drop.
Right.
Of the universe.
And we don't even know if the universe is done expanding yet. So, but that's in a whole other show. That's a whole other show. The Witching Hour with Eron Mazza, where can we find that?
You can find that on Switcher.
Okay.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM app. So it's available in a lot of places.
All right. So we're just now. Let me get this. EronMazza.
Correct.
All right. I'd like to thank you so much for coming by today. I know that this is far, far away from the Wood of Hazel. But I appreciate you coming in and chitting the chat with us.
It was a pleasure and a privilege.
All right. So this is Demon Daddy Dale for the Bohemian Cauldron saying, stay magical out there.
Dale is infallible.